How to get her to want only you. How to take a woman who doesn't really know you and bring her to a place where she is the one that wants to be in an exclusive relationship with you instead of you chasing, begging, over pursuing, pleading, asking her out, hoping with your fingers crossed. I've been that guy. I have painful memories of the past of chasing, over pursuing. And I've also been the guy that was honestly a little cold at some points. I got jaded at one point in my journey through this whole self-development thing and pickup and dating stuff. And I've helped a lot of men over the years. At this point, I've coached close to 1,000 men, right? I'm about to be 35 years old. And I've seen a lot of mistakes when it comes to dating and getting into a relationship and getting to a place where the girl wants to be exclusive with you, all right? And one of the biggest mistakes that I see when it comes to this thing is this idea that the man is pushing and pushing and pushing for the relationship, and the girl is simply not at a place where she is ready to be in a relationship yet with you. And the last thing you want to do, guys, if you're dating a woman, is get to a position where she's unsure if she wants to be in a relationship with you yet, and you're pushing for the relationship. And now you're in a position where it's as if we're at the bargaining table, and I've already signed the contract, and I'm pushing the contract on her to sign the contract, right? And I know it sounds funny, but honestly, guys, a relationship is, to some extent, it is a non-written contract, right? We don't actually write out like, here's what I'm expecting in the relationship, but it is actually communicated to one another. Like if you guys go on a first date and then you get to know each other and you guys go on a series of dates, date 5, date 10, date 15, over the span of 1, 2, 3+ months, so some guys 6+ months, right? You spend a lot of time interacting with a woman. And through that entire courtship and dating, you are, essentially you guys are creating a construct of what should be going on between the dynamic of us, right? What is the non-written contract between the two of us? And so by the time it gets to a place where we're actually trying to get into a relationship, it's essentially saying like, hey, over the last bit of weeks or months of us dating, there has been this dynamic in place, and I'm ready to officially make this dynamic in place. Are you, and I'm signing off on that. Are you in a position where you're signing off on that? And the mistake that I see with men is that they're signing the contract and the girl hasn't signed the contract, and now you're begging and pleading and trying to push the girl over the edge to sign the contract. And now she's essentially, she has all the power. She's literally sitting back at the bargaining table with the pen, looking at the thing, saying, I don't know if I want to sign this. I don't know if I'm ready to sign this yet. Right? And you're stuck there because you already signed the contract. And now you're in a position where you're like, please, like, what do you want me to add into the contract? Like, I'll do whatever you want, please. Right? And that's metaphorically what a lot of men are doing. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. Like, what I'm not saying is to be cold and disconnected and jaded and like this heartless dickhead that doesn't want to be in a relationship. That's actually not what I'm saying. That's so far in the opposite direction. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is there is a way to date a woman and to show her a really good time as you're courting her, as you guys are getting to know each other over the span of weeks and months. And it can get to a place at some point where she wants to be in a relationship. And you will know this. There will be signs building up. I'll give you guys a couple different indications that things are progressing to the place where she would want to be in a relationship. You need to look for some of these signs, because if you don't see these signs and you're just blindly talking to her and then you sign the contract metaphorically, she has all the power, right? And I don't want you to be in that position. Not that I'm not even trying to get you guys into some power trip either. What I really think should be happening is we both go to the bargaining table and it's very clear what we're both getting into and we both want to do it. And so it's a very healthy way of getting into a relationship. That's what I want for you guys, all right? So the way that this happens is from the jump, from the moment we start dating, you should be leading the dating and courtship at least a little bit. That doesn't mean she doesn't make any decisions. That doesn't mean that she doesn't have a say in things either. But as a man, you should be leading the courtship, okay? As things progress, right? Maybe eventually it builds up to sex or intimacy. Maybe you guys are at least kissing and stuff, and weeks have gone by and it's clear that there is a vibe building up. at some point, the girl will want to start doing things a little bit more fancy. All right. Maybe you guys initially were hanging out, or maybe you guys were already, maybe it started out fancy. Like some of you guys actually are already going on nice dates and stuff like that. But at some point, what you'll find is if she really likes you, at some point she's gonna maybe push to do something even more fancy or more intimate. So if you haven't already been doing fancy dates, maybe at some point she's gonna bring up the idea that we could do something a little bit more special. Maybe we could go out one weekend, we go out to a nice spot, or we go out to the city for one night out, or we do this thing, right? If you're already doing fancy dates, maybe the next step would be you guys spend a night at some spot. Like maybe an example, if I live in Jersey and I've been dating a girl and we've already done a couple nice dates and it's been 1, 2, 3 months, it's totally okay to rent out an Airbnb for a night out in the city. And that would be a more fancy type of date. And by the way, it doesn't necessarily need to equate to more money, but what I have noticed is like going out and doing nice things to some extent does require money. So unfortunately for some of you guys, this might be an unfortunate reality, but look, man, if you're gonna date a girl long term, at some point you're gonna be spending money. That's just part of the game, bro. It is, right? If you're just trying to smash some girl and keep this completely $0 invested, it's gonna be really tough, and that's just part of the game, right? But for the sake of this video, how to get her to want to be exclusive with you or want to only be with you, essentially, we start dating, things are going well, things start progressing, maybe she pushes to do a more fancy thing. Another thing that might happen is she starts to introduce you to different people. So on a small level, that could be you meet her friends one night. Like that, it doesn't seem like much. It doesn't always mean something special. Some girls are like very, very friend group oriented, in which case you might actually meet the friends like the first night out if you just met her out on a night out. But if you met her on like a dating app or something, or the first couple times you hung out was just one-on-one dates, at some point, she's probably gonna feel compelled to start bringing you around your friends, or she wants to meet your friends. Guess what? That's a good indication that things are starting to progress. You wanna take that one step forward. Beyond that, meeting her family. Now, for some girls, that's a massive step, but for other girls, like them introducing you to their family is not that crazy of a step. Like for some women, they're very close with their families, or they even live with their families, so they're always around their family. So it may not be a big deal to actually just see her mom one day when you're out. Like a lot of girls that I used to see would see my mom very early on, just because my mom was always at the gym, same time I was at the gym, and we lived together up until I was 30 as well. So like I would have girls seeing my mom very early on. It didn't mean things were getting very serious, but I'm just showing you a couple different signs that might indicate to you that things are moving in the right direction, right? So it could be doing more fancy things. It could be a discussion of travel. There was a woman I dated when I was 29, and after dating her for on the 3rd month, she was like, "Hey, I was actually going to go to San Diego. I was wondering if you would want to come for a couple of days. I think it would be a great experience for us both." And I was actually down. So we went for, I think we went for 4 nights, or 3 or 4 days I spent with her in San Diego. And then I also spent a couple days with my friend out there. And yeah, that was another good indication. So doing nice things, spending time meeting her family, spending time meeting her friends. All of these are indications things might be moving in the right direction. Now, here's something else that might happen as well. At some point, she might start throwing jabs out there that imply, or it's really her pinging to see if you're still talking to other girls, okay? And none of these are a bad thing. Guys are worried that when the girl starts doing some of these things, like, no, this is all great signs. If she really likes you and she's thinking about you and she starts to see a future with you potentially, she's gonna kind of move through this process, right? It's like getting closer, getting to know him on deeper levels, introducing him to the people in my life, meeting the people in his life, going to more intimate locations and experiences, maybe even sleeping over or weekends together. And then the next thing is, well, is he seeing anybody else? Is he doing these things with any other women, right? So that could be the next thing that she brings up. She might start throwing jabs out there, right? What I've seen on the very front end is if you take a girl to a spot and she thinks you might be doing it, something she might say is, "Oh, I bet you take all your dates here," right? She might say that. Or if it's been weeks or months in, what she might say is like, "Oh, whose hair is this?" Or Kyle, whose hair tie is this? Funny, I got a hair tie sitting right here, right? Whose hair tie is this, right? The hair tie thing's like a more obvious one, but this random, she might find a random hair, or if you really fucked up, this is not ideal, but you might find like a condom in the trash can. That happened earlier on in my journey when I was in my mid-20s, but one way or that one's not ideal, by the way, but one way or another, she might start to make a jab or a hint pressing you to see, are you dating other women? And again, this is not necessarily a bad thing either. This is pretty much her saying, I'm curious if you're open to the idea of us being exclusive, right? She might also indirectly do this by just, some girls, man, women are so sneaky with this one, so you gotta be careful. Girls will find so many different ways to kind of bring this up. Another way that she might do it is if she feels like you really like her, she might just talk about how she's only seeing you, right? So she actually doesn't straight up call you out on it, because for some girls that might feel like they're putting a lot of pressure on you and they're almost like afraid to do that. So as a means of going around that, they'll just talk about how you're the only one that they're talking to, or how they like spending so much time with you and how they deleted their online dating app or whatever. And the reason that they're doing that is to see how you're going to respond to that. Do you reciprocate to them or what, right? And I'm not saying that you need to if you're not, but what I am saying is all of these different things are just signs, and they kind of build up incrementally, that she's moving closer and closer and closer to the idea of being exclusive with you, which is great. So to tie this back into the beginning of the video, what you don't want to do is just push for her to be your girlfriend. And that's what I see a lot of men doing wrong, is they bring up the idea of her being her girlfriend and they keep pushing for it, or maybe they even ask prematurely when it's not clear that we've created a dynamic to the point where she wants to be with me. Let the girl indicate to you that she wants to be with you. All right, and again, that doesn't mean you're cold and distant. You can, throughout this whole process, you can let her know, like, hey, I've been really having a lot of fun getting to know you. On the front end, it might be, I had so much fun last night. I really had fun the last couple of weeks getting to know you. After getting to know you over the last couple of weeks, I gotta say, I really admire blank. I really appreciate blank about you. I think you're so unique because of blank thing. You don't need to say all of these. I'm just showing you guys a couple different ways that you could explain to the girl that you really like her without giving away your power, without pushing for a relationship. You can talk about these different things. It's actually a good thing. It's actually a good thing. And if you think that that's gonna scare the girl away, you're dealing with some super insecure, super toxic type behavior. It's totally okay to communicate that to people that you've been dating for weeks or even months. And if that does push them away, congrats. You actually just like dodged a massive bullet, honestly. But it's totally okay to say these things, and you want to kind of see how she's feeling about the whole thing as well. So pay attention to all of these behaviors and what she's saying about you as the weeks and months go by. Now, at some point, it will get to a place where we get to the bargaining table. You want her to be the one to bring this stuff up, or at least be hinting at it. If she's not even hinting at any of this stuff, it's very unlikely that she's ready for it. Girls, women will let you know this shit, man, okay? Some girls will be very, very open and blunt about it. Other girls will be a little bit more sneaky, but they'll still find ways to sprinkle these things in. And as you feel it building up more and more and more, at some point, what you want to have is the talk. You want to have the what are we talk, okay? You don't want to be presenting, will you be my girlfriend? I want you to be my girlfriend. Instead, what you want to do is you want to have the talk, which is, are you seeing anybody? Where are you at with this? How are you feeling about this? And ideally, in a perfect world, the woman is bringing this stuff up. Do you get why? The reason she's bringing it up is because she's at the bargaining table ready to sign. And so she's saying, where are you at with the contract? Which is a great thing, because now you're in a position where you can actually sit there and review the contract. And you could talk to her about this at this point, and you could say, hey, okay, cool, yeah, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. Well, and by the way, guys, this is a great time before you sign the contract. This is a great time to talk about anything that's been bothering you, because we're about to move into a relationship. So look, if she has male friends that's been bothering you, if she acts a certain way around this thing, if she gives you an attitude around certain thing, if there's a certain behavior or action that is like really not tolerable in your life, we need to talk about these things before I sign the contract. right? And if me saying the sign the contract thing is triggering you, it's just a fucking metaphor, bro. Okay, relax. It's a good analogy though, because you want to make sure you address the things in the contract before we fully sign off on this thing. And it's a great time. So by not pushing into the relationship prematurely and allowing things to blossom organically by you leading it without over pursuing it, and it gets to a place where she's bringing up these topics, now you can sit down and have a conversation about it. Hey, listen, yeah, I know you keep bringing up asking me about like if I've been dating other people and stuff like that. I was just curious, like, are you? Or maybe she already said she hasn't been, right? Okay, cool. In which case I would say, yeah, I mean, honestly, look, I've had so much fun getting to know you over the last little bit. And I know you keep asking about this thing. Like, I'm just curious, I'm just curious how you're feeling about everything. Like, let her explain how she's feeling. She's gonna say, yeah, I really like you, or yeah, I'm at a place where I'm not seeing anybody else and I've really enjoyed spending time with you over the last little bit. Like, she will explain to you how she's feeling, okay? Trust me, if she wants to be in a relationship with you, she's not gonna have a problem talking about these things. And so really at that point, awesome. Now we have a conversation. You can address any of the things that have been bothering you. That's a whole nother topic. Really what I'm showing you is how to get her to a place where she wants to be exclusive with you. And at that point, if she wants to, and you also want to take that next leap, by all means, you have that conversation, and then you officialize it. You solidify it, right? But still, what I would say is like, once you have clarity that she does want to do that and you have that talk, be the man and actually ask her out though, still, all right? Like, it's still on you to lead this thing. It's still on you to confidently ask her out to be your girl. And so don't not do that. Like, don't be like, well, she needs to ask me to be her thing. It's like, no, it's always on the man to move it forward, but then you're always pinging to see where she's at. So you're never like going way too far with it disproportionately to where she's at, right? So you move it forward, you make sure she's kind of like there. And as things progress, the girl will be giving indications that she's ready to go to higher and higher levels as well. Once you feel like you have enough of this in place, you have a serious talk about the whole thing, assuming all that's going well, then you can officially ask her out, right? And it could be in that moment, or you guys could come to an agreement, and then the next time you do some like fancy thing, if you really want to make it like a special event, that's when you could ask her out. All right, that's how you can go through the process to get her to a place where she wants to be only with you. All right, if you want help fast tracking this whole process, if you can't land enough dates, if you don't have the confidence, if you want more women in your life, more women, more dates, more confidence, I can help you with that stuff. All right, click the link down below for an opportunity to work with me directly. That's all for this video, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.